was at the 5th grade, I used my study period to go to the library. That was my first year in middle school, and it was a new school and had this beautiful, gigantic library. I mean, it was massive and it was great. I went through the stacks and I looked at all the books, and wow, I was just so blown away by so many books, and so many books, so little time kind of thing. And I just was delighted. Free for me. And on study periods, we were allowed to go to the library. So I had open access to it. Even time was given to me to go. So I decided that I was going to systematically take advantage of the library. And so I made a plan. Every day, I would check out 2 books. I would read them, and then I would return them the next day and check out 2 more. So I read through all the Nancy Drews, 56 Nancy Drews, 58 Hardy Boys. And when I finished them, I just kept on going. I was doing 2 books a day, 10 books a week. I was in book heaven at the time. We lived out in the country, and I was on the bus for an hour in the morning and an hour at night. I was one of the last people on the route. So I used that time, 2 hours a day, to read. I would rush through my homework at school, so when I got on the bus, I would just be able to read and read and read. So by the time I would get home in the afternoon, I would have almost finished my first book. I would start the second one after dinner, and then I would finish it on the bus ride in the morning. And in this way, I was able to get 2 books done, and then on my study period, I would go back to the library. It wouldn't take me long because I knew, next two. I didn't have to look usually for very much. So I worked my way through. Well, that lasted till Christmas. And I was in the library to get my next 2 books one day. And when I got to the checkout place, the librarian, the head librarian, came out of the back office, and she's like spotted me and came over to me, and she looked, like angry. And she said to me, "Are you reading all these books?" And I said, "Yes." I was so shy. I thought I was going to die. My heart was pounding. I couldn't believe it, that she was angry. What was she angry? All I was doing was reading my books. And then she said to me, "You're taking out too many books. So you're going to be limited. I'm going to put a note in your file, and you're going to be limited no more than 5 books a week." Oh my goodness. I was so upset. I left the library. I mean, I was fighting tears, and I didn't want to be crying when I went back to the classroom. I was 11 years old. Too big to cry, right? And so I just couldn't believe that somebody would do that to me, that they would tell me I couldn't have my books because it was a library. And so, yeah, it really, really did bother me a lot. And, I lost some sleep over it. And for the next months, I would ride home on the bus, and looking out the window like, wish I had a book. And it was just really a sad time for me. It was really sad. But books started coming to me from other directions. There was a lady who had some kind of a subscription to a book club or something, and she found out I liked to read, and she would send me boxes of books, and there were other ways that I got books. I always had books. And so as time went on, now I think about it, only 5 books a week. That was pretty phenomenal. What a great time in my life. I think it was one of the high points of my whole life was that year. So 5 books a week. But the point of the story is not about reading the books. The point of the story is, what if somebody tells you that you're doing something too much? Maybe you're talking too much, you're laughing too loud, you're not serious enough, you're too much of a social butterfly, or maybe you're too nerdy. All these things that people say to us to restrict us and stop us. And we take it to heart, don't we? We take it to heart. And that's what really the point of this this recording today. And there's an article along these lines on medium.com. Look it up. I've got the link down below. But think about a time when maybe you were told you do something too much. Because, you know, that's your natural talent. Your natural gifts are in that. In 1996, my first book was published. And in 2001, I won a national award for my writing. And now today, I've written more than 30 books. My books have sold and sold and sold. And now I'm a ghostwriter, professional writer, ghostwriter, and editor. And you know what I thought when I was thinking about this topic is that I was putting in my 10,000 hours when I was in the 5th grade. And there are people who are artists, you know, they put in their 10,000 hours at different points in their life, at the down times and so forth. There is a guy, a cartoonist, and his name is Dav Pilkey. He was so disruptive in his classroom that his teacher made him sit in the hall. He was too loud and noisy and just too much. And so while he was out there, he started drawing cartoons, and he made a cartoon book called Captain Underpants. His teacher came out and saw what he had done and ripped it up and said, you need to do something more constructive with your life than making silly books. Well, you know, Captain Underpants has sold more than 80 million copies. That cartoon's on Netflix. And Dav Pilkey, he put in his 10,000 hours, started them at least, in that hallway. So don't discount things that happen. You know, think about when you were a kid. What did you do too much? It's really good information for creating a life you absolutely love. Thanks so much. See you next time.